Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, the show where we talk the Marvel Plus shows on Disney Plus, the Marvel shows on Disney Plus, and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and you can catch this podcast live over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Enigma911, every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join in the chat, join in the conversation, share those theories with us. We'd love to have you. If you can't join us live, that's A-OK. It's posted the very next day over on SoundCloud and YouTube, out in full, so you can check it out over there. Give it a listen, give it a watch. Let us know your comments and stuff, or let your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and we'll get to them hopefully in the next episode. But yes, we're on episode 5 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're getting towards the end. Next week is the finale, and episode 5, just like the rest of the series, was another good one. A lot of info and story building in this episode, I would say, compared to others. 3 and 4 I think seemed a little bit more action-y, which was good. But yeah, we got some action to start off this one, and then, like I said, a lot of narrative points kind of to lead up to that finale of next week, which kind of surprising. Obviously we talked about back in episode 1 how this was a shorter series than WandaVision, but just seemed to go by quick. It didn't seem like it was finale time already. And we got a lot of questions answered in this one with the backstory that they've built and kind of focused on in this episode, but still one or two like big ones. I feel that I don't know how they're gonna, like, obviously they're gonna fit it into the finale, or like, is it just a setup for something bigger, I guess, like another movie or whatnot. But we'll get right into it with the summary and the thoughts as we went through the episode. So we started off with Vocap John Walker running. I wasn't sure if he was being chased or he was scared. Turns out he's kind of scared and kind of recollecting his thoughts, and also obviously dealing with the fact that he just murdered a man like we talked about last week. So he's dealing with that, and obviously the repercussions of his actions, and his friend dying, Battlestar, Lamar, passing away. So he's dealing with that. We get a quick moment of silence for Lamar, it seems, and then kind of bounces back awfully quick. Didn't really feel all super guilty. He's like, I'm Captain America. I'm still, like, I did what was right. Like, I get it, but whew, he just, like, quick moment of panic, and then, okay, we're back into it. We're fine. We're normal. So we got that. We get Bucky and Sam catching up to him, trying to talk him down, sympathize with him like it was a mistake. We understand what happened. It's the heat of the moment kind of thing. And like I said, John's kind of like not about it. He's like all gung-ho of like, I'm Captain America, this is what I'm supposed to do, blah blah blah, I did the right thing, which, once again, I get where he's coming from, but man, he was a little too quick at the getting over it part, in my opinion. I don't know. So yeah, they get a little fight on, a little action. So we get Sam and Bucky attacking John. John's defending him, trying to keep the shield. And man, our boys kind of get whooped, get their asses whooped at the beginning. So yeah, really cool action scene, seeing all that. Obviously, the super soldier serum has taken full effect, as we can see. He was kind of like a question mark at the end of last episode if he had taken it or not, but clearly we see it here that he has. So yeah, he's kind of holding his own against these two. And we get some moments of not scaredness, but you kind of fear a little bit for Sam and Bucky's safety, as John attempts to do the same bashing of the shield he did in episode 5 to that poor guy. But obviously they got each other's back. There was one point it looked like Bucky's arm shorted out, which I thought was interesting. And I was wondering if that was going to be a bigger plot point into the fight. Obviously it was not. So we get them saving each other. And then we get the big oh shit moment of this fight as John literally rips the wings off the jetpack of Sam, pretty much, grounding him. So yeah, Sam's got no tools of the trade. We had Red Wing obviously fall back in like episode 2 or something, and now we got this. Like, this man is ill-equipped for this fight. But they finally take care of John with the taking care of John and gotten the shield back. We did a little tag team maneuver with Sam and Bucky smashing the shield against his face, knocking him out. But yeah, we see Bucky kind of give the shield back, and then Bucky essentially walks away. Sam's got a little moment with the shield kind of gathering it and getting himself together, but he wipes the shield off. A little quick note I had here is like, gross, bro, that's covered in all this blood. Why are you just wiping it off with your hand? But we get that as our cold opening, and then we go from here. So we get all that action, which is very cool. So yeah, John Walker's in big trouble here. Big trouble with the government, obviously big trouble with the world for how he handled this. And we see the senator once again from earlier in the series that we thought maybe was going to be a bigger player. Might not just might be this government official stand-in that we have. So we see him talking with some kind of council and John about how they're taking, the title away. They want the shield back, etc., and how they're taking away quite a bit of his, what you should get for serving. Like, they're taking away his benefits. That was the big thing. Like, he's just kind of SOL. Now, they're not locking him up. Yes, you could say, obviously, that's a good thing, and they did say you should be grateful for that, but, like, oof, they were really hitting the nail on the head there. And, John is just like, I was just trying to be Captain America, be what you told me to be what you wanted me to be. He's obviously stressed. He's going through a lot. And a lot in a short period of time, losing his friend, obviously flipping out and murdering this dude, and then this thing. So we're not really hoping this raging inferno all that much. We're just kind of stoking it and adding to it. And then we get the biggest question mark of this episode. We get a random woman walking up to him and his wife, and I don't know if Papa Griff's in the chat, but I think it was Elaine from Seinfeld. I was like, hello? What are you doing here? What is her name? Dreyfus or something like that? Thank you. Yes, Peanut Gallery got it. I was just like, hello. I didn't know she was in this show at all. Now, before watching this episode, I did get spoiled a little bit. Not on any story moments or anything, but I did hear some rumors of maybe I don't remember the character's name exactly, but there has been women in Hydra that are like bigger villains, not just like Hydra Goon 1, Hydra Goon 2, etc. So I'm wondering if maybe she is supposed to be a Hydra agent of some kind. We don't get any more information on her really, other than this chat here where she's trying to like talk to John like, hey, you did the right thing, and like sympathize with him that way to kind of lure him in. And then she hands a blank business card to his wife, which was another big question mark at the end of the episode, or end of that little talking segment. Maybe. But yeah, so we get this exchange, and she says, obviously, the next best thing that you will do is answer the phone when I call. So it's a setup for something. So I like that. I'm going to talk about it later with another character, but I like how we're setting up these elements of like, because I can't imagine they're going to solve everything in episode 6 that they're setting up. There's another character, the power broker, who we know not much about. I like how we're setting stones for either next movies or further series. Like, I like how we're doing this. So we're also building characters not to be toss-away characters. Like, at this moment, John seems like a much bigger character than just this series, which I like. I like how they're doing that with comic book characters, which are like, oh, he was here for a little while, and then whoop, you never would have really called out this character of U.S. Agent unless we did this series. Like, yeah, it was a thing that happened, but it's not like common knowledge, if that makes sense, to the general audience. If you're a comic book fan and you've really delved into these things, yeah, you'll know about it. But I like that we're taking these characters that weren't so talked about in the general audience or even known about and like escalating them. So there's potential of John doing more. And I mean, we have a whole lot more episode to talk about what he does even in this one, but I like the kind of seeds were sowing in this. Mrs. G brings up the fact that she thought she was the person they stole the vials from, the super soldier and the power broker. I was wondering that too, but I think because she mentioned, I work for somebody who is like interested in you or interested in the situation or something like that, that maybe she works for the power broker. She herself is not. But that's a question that will have to be answered down the road. Yeah, we don't know. Power broker, we got a lot of questions about. We didn't hear jack shit in this episode about power broker or get any headway towards them except for possibly this conversation. So we don't know. I made that note too. Is it power broker, ? Or a connection? But I'm pretty sure she said, I have connections with someone that you're interested or is interested. So yeah, she's got a lot of info about the whole situation that's going on. Like, I would have killed the guy. I know this. You don't have the shield. The government doesn't own the shield technically. It's in this gray area or has no rights to it. Why does this bitch know that? What's going on? So anyways, a lot of questions to come out of that scene. Another story thread that we get to follow. So when we cut back to Carly, seems like she has obviously less supporters of the main super soldier group. It looked like 4 to 5 supporters. It seems like they're shutting down the GRC, if I read this correctly, the refugee camps. Or read this correctly, if I interpreted this correctly. Yeah, they're shutting these down, and they are not happy. Obviously, they're shutting them down because there's ties to the Flag Smashers and hiding their allies in them. So the idea is to shut down these, and then, as we'll find out later, send the refugees back to their respective countries. So yeah, we get that slight info with Carly and Flag Smashers, what they're doing, what they're up to. And then we get back to Zemo. Zemo escaped, as we saw last episode, through the sewers, I believe. And he's just chilling at Sokovia Memorial. Why? He's just there. We got that little info tidbit drop at like episode 3 or something like that. And Bucky just knows he's there. What? Whatever. So we get this little interlude between him and Bucky, and it seems like almost like Bucky is trying to scare Zemo or show him that like he has control of his non-assassin type self. And it seems like Zemo almost kind of forgives him. It's just like, you know what, I'm at peace with you. And then yes, we see him getting taken away by the Dora Milaje. Once again, I'm sure I'm wrecking that pronunciation, but the Wakandan Guard. They're taking Zemo to the raft. Now, I flipped out when I heard this, not going to lie. I jumped over there. For those of you guys who don't know, over on stream, I've been playing through Spider-Man on PS4 once again. The raft is a big prison in New York, at least in that game, that holds a bunch of supervillains. Now, after I had my little flip out, I was like, wait, have we already referenced the raft? Because there was that big prison in Civil War. Was that the raft? I don't remember. Someone will have to fact check me on that. But they're taking him to the raft. They say he's never going to escape. So, Zemo's done for the series? ? Interesting. I thought Zemo was going to be a bigger part in this, at least in the teasers and the trailers. Like, they showed him with the mask, which we have seen. I thought he was going to be a bigger component, but he's kind of just been like this kind of like a facet or something, like this slight tool. That sounds weird, but like thing to use to kind of keep the story going, and like obviously get the information of the Flag Smashers and the Power Broker, etc. This ally. I'm wondering if in episode 6 maybe he's going to break free, or once again this is leading to more movie stuff down the road. Zemo's been a villain that we've kept around. We haven't done that all too much with big villains. Ultron's gone as far as we know. Hela's gone. I'm sure there's 800 other ones I could mention, but there's not a lot of villains that have stuck around. Loki's obviously stuck around. Thanos, because we had that big overarching story with him. Like, this is another one that they're keeping around. It's not just like, oh, they're dead, and then let's fix them. Next movie, we'll put somebody else in here. It's not disposable. So I like that. I like that we're doing this. So it's a big question mark of like, are we going to see him again? Or is it a thing where we had this reconciliation or whatever you want to call it, healing moment with Bucky, and he's just done? Like, this is how we're writing him off. Seems a little weird if that is the case. But I'm trying to think of like what his motivation could be from this point on. If he's fine with Bucky being Bucky. I don't know. Mrs. G says he doesn't seem like too much of a threat. It's weird how calm he is. Yeah, I'm wondering if he's always had this calm demeanor to him. I'm wondering if it's like that's part of the mind games more, because he has no powers whatsoever. He's just a dude. So he's got to use something to his advantage. I don't know. So yeah, we got that. So we got the raft, and then Bucky's going to ask for one more favor from the Wakandan guard, which we're going to see that later. Cutting back over to Sam, he's back to visit Isaiah, the super soldier we learned about in episode 1 or 2. We learned a lot about Isaiah in this episode, about how his wife passed away while he's in jail. They had no connection to one another. She was told that he was dead while he was in jail, and going through all of his stuff, the experiments, obviously just the jail time in general. And we also learn about like him receiving the serum. Turns out him and his platoon were given a bunch of different versions of the super soldier serum, and they were lied about it and told it was tetanus, I believe, those shots. So Sam's like obviously understanding all of this and trying to learn more. He's trying to understand why Isaiah's so against the government, against the Cap thing. And it turns out that Isaiah had overheard that the government, the military, whoever was in charge, was going to get rid of the prisoner of war camp and get rid of the evidence of experimentation that they had. Isaiah didn't like that. He said, these are my friends, these are my allies, this is my troop. So he essentially broke out, went to go save them at wherever they were, and brought them back. Yay. Should be a good thing. However, he gets punished for this. The reason that's so bad is Cap obviously did the same exact thing. He was doing the little, parades around, like trying to sell stamps and do the little cheer up the troops in World War II. And then he actually took action because he was upset that Bucky was captured along with others, and went and saved him, brought him back. Big celebration. So we're bringing in the realism of, unfortunately, racial affairs and discrimination. And I like how they're taking, these real world elements and putting them into the story, implementing them to kind of, make you understand what is going on. They've done this in the comics before too, with other issues like 9/11 and whatnot, like just kind of bringing aspects of realism into the storytelling to kind of, I guess, enhance it, if you want to use that word. Rough, because obviously real life situation, racism's not good. Like, rough because people feel that way. Good storytelling because it makes it interesting, compelling, and you feel compassion for these characters. I hope all that makes sense. I think, adding these issues, adding these elements is going to make people connect with Sam more and make him more relatable. And I think that's good. It's good storytelling. When you have relatable characters that you can get invested in, it's great. So that was the whole thing there. A lot of info. We understand why Isaiah is not so happy now. After this conversation, Sam has decided to go home. Obviously, he can't really do too much, without his wings. There's not much he can really do from there. So he decides to go home, focus on his family, focus on the boat, because they don't have any leads either. It turns out the buyer for the boat has dropped off. So Sarah is pretty much like, we can't sell the boat. It's a piece of shit. Nobody's going to want it. So Sam's like, very determined. All right, I'm here to help out. Let's fix up the boat. let's do that. Calls in some favors, gets help from old family friends and people that they had helped out in the past. Fixing the boat. Yay! We get Bucky showing up. Yay! Here to help the boat too. We get a little funny joke about him not using his metal arm to fix a steam valve or something. He uses the tool. And we get a little flirty flirt between Bucky and Sarah. Haha. Boat montage. Fix, fix, fix. We get that. Great. We cut back over to John Walker, FOCAP. He's talking with Lamar's parents, sharing the news, obviously, and what's happened there. His wife has said maybe this can be a way you can start healing, take things one step at a time, because she realizes, he's stressed about a lot of things that are happening. He's very emotional. And we see this, and he immediately lies to the parents. They ask if he killed the person that killed Lamar. He says, yes, we know that as an audience to be wrong, because Carly punched Lamar, and this guy was just there. So, yikes. Whole thing, yikes. So we get that quick cutaway. We go back to the boat. Let's see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Before we go back to the boat, we get a quick little flash into Sharon's world where she's talking on the phone, talking about some offer. And it sounded like, if I'm not mistaken, sounded like this person on the opposite end of the phone was a German accent. So we get a whole lot more big gray area with Sharon going on of like, what are you up to? What kind of game are you playing? And we've talked about this in previous podcast episodes of like, there's a lot surrounding Sharon that we don't know. We got this pickup from the shipping area containers, and she's got some ally, more questions about Sharon than I like. So we'll have to figure out what's going on with her. Now we cut back to the guys and the boat. We got a fun moment with the kids playing with the shield. And we see Sam is now practicing with the shield, doing the reflecting, I guess you could say, throwing it off the trees and catching it, etc. And Bucky and Sam really have a heart-to-heart over this. They finally have kind of realized, hey, I've been kind of a jerk. Hey, I've kind of been an ass. Yada, whatever. Talking out their feelings like we tried to at the therapy session. And they're healing, which is good. Bucky mentions that Steve and him had talked about passing on the shield to Sam before. Big question mark as to when that happened, but they had that conversation, and Bucky reveals, like, this shield is all I have that kind of gives me the sense of family, sense of belonging. So when Sam gave it up to the government to retire, Bucky felt lost. He felt like he was questioning everything, questioning Steve, questioning Sam, questioning himself, and like what he could do from here. What is he supposed to be? And he reveals he tried doing the book similar to Steve and his healing from being, the time traveler, and it just wasn't working for him. So he wasn't sure how to go from there. Sam has the heart-to-heart with him about, like, you have your list of these things you're trying to amend, but in reality you're just doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for the actual people. So he kind of is like, try and enhance their lives, see if you can help them, and that will help you more than just being selfish and being like, I'm sorry about this thing I did. So we get this nice heart-to-heart. I'm sure it's going to be a callback to the old man and unfortunately his son that had passed away. Will we see that in the conclusion of episode 6? We'll see. And yeah, we finally have them seeing eye to eye more than likely. They joke about the team up, how they're, give me a call when you got info, but we're not actually teams or coworkers, blah, blah, blah. Like, they get it. They're over it, but I like how they're still teasing each other about it. We see that the boat is fully fixed up. They're about to paint over the parents' names, and then they finally decide, no, this is our home. This boat, is our sense of family, I guess you could say. We're going to keep it. Good. Nice moment there. It's all healed up. Great. And Sam is ready to commit to going back to it. He's fully training. He's running. He's doing all these acrobatics. He's throwing the shield. Blah, blah, blah. Training montage. I just got to say one thing about this training montage. Sam is very lucky that this shield is not smashing up the house, hurting anybody. Like, there's a lot of miscatches and close calls during this montage. Oh, God. Good thing the kids were not around. But we see he's gaining skill and getting comfortable with the shield. It's really cool to see. So he's finally accepted, this is my role, you know. Even though Isaiah was very against it and kind of questioning, like, if a black man could be Captain America, I think Sam feels like he understands Isaiah's pain, but he's like, we can't move forward if we don't do something about it. We could just wallow. I don't know. I don't know the right wording for it, but he feels he could do more being Captain America than just not wanting to be it, if that makes sense. Like, he could do more good things as it. The process of him becoming Captain America. Exactly. So we cut back to Carly. They're in some kind of park. And she mentions to who we've seen as, I guess, her right-hand man, getting more help, getting more assistance. And we see another familiar face walk up. We get the Leaper back from episode 1. He's back. He's got some kind of weaponry with him. And all he wants for himself is to kill the Falcon. Get revenge on Sam. Says he's not part of the cause. He's just here for that. So we got that little alliance acting up. We see a lot of sympathetic people in the park responding to the pulse of the hand message or whatever you want to call it. So we got a lot of sympathizers. In conclusion of this episode, our military guy, Torres, I think is his last name, mentions to Sam they got a ping for the Flag Smashers in New York. Sam says, all right, I'm going to go right to it. And we see them, some of the sympathizers we saw in the park, we see them infiltrate the Senate meeting, or I assume it's Senate meeting, whoever it is, for the GRC vote, to close them down, to send the refugees packing. So that's their goal now, is to stop that from happening, send a message there. And then we get the little cliffhanger at the end. We didn't see what's in the Wakandan box. We just get Sam opening it. His little reaction, and the bastards cut us off and kept that as a cliffhanger. So obviously we got a new wingsuit there. Is it made of vibranium? What's the composition of it? We don't know how it's going to look. Is he going to look like his Captain America counterpart in the comics? Like, is he going to have the full get up? Did Bucky request that, or just the wings itself? Is it going to be a cool reveal in episode 6? But we get that. And then we get to our post-credits scene. Oh boy. John Walker is creating a shield for himself. I think out of his war medals. I don't know if it's out of it or his war medals are going to be around it. I think that would look a little hokey. But we see him making his own shield. So he is back in action. He's going to attempt to, I assume, stop the Flag Smashers and kind of hopefully try and reclaim his name a little bit. So we get that. So that was episode 5 of Falcon and Winter Soldier Truth. Like I said, a lot of information, a lot of narrative and storytelling in this episode that answer questions that we had in previous episodes, or at least give us more information about it. And then we get a lot of teases with the wingsuit, teases with John, teases with Sharon, like a lot of questions coming up. And like I said, what's Zemo's thing? Are we done with Zemo? Is it just writing him off to the sunset, or is it setting up another thing down the road for a movie? I don't know. It could be maybe he's the villain of Black Panther 2, but if he's in the raft, how does he get to Wakanda? Like, I thought they were going to take him there. Not the case. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this finale wraps up. This last episode was an hour, I think it was 61 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see how long the finale is. What kind of answers are we going to get about the Power Broker? Are we going to even see the Power Broker? What's Dreyfus's character doing? Like, is she Hydra? Is she not Hydra? Is she just connected to the Power Broker? Like I said, what's Sharon's deal? Who is she working for? Is it Fury? Is it the Power Broker? Is it someone else? Yeah, lot of questions to be had. A lot of questions. Did we talk about Carter? Yeah, we talked about Sharon. how she was on the phone with potentially, I don't know who, but it sounded like somebody German. Sounded like a German accent. Yeah, that was the only cutaway we got of her and info, and just all it was more questions of like who she's working with. So yeah, a lot of questions to be had, a lot of things to think about. Just very excited for this finale next week. Obviously, there'll be a lot to talk about the answers we do get next week, the answers we don't get next week, what branches on to the next thing. Is it going to be tied in a nice bow like WandaVision, except for the post-credits, obviously? Or what? Like, obviously, I just said tight, nice little bow like WandaVision, but we had a lot of questions coming out of WandaVision. What about White Vision? What about, obviously, Wanda herself? There was other things. So maybe it's going to be one of these things where some of it gets wrapped up and some of it's just like, you know what? Fuck it. You got to remember this down the road. I don't know. I don't see how they can wrap up anything in one episode. I mean, they can. I think the main thing that's going to be wrapped up, two big things. We have to figure out the Flag Smasher thing. That's going to be settled. Sam and Bucky are going to save the day for that. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out John Walker. Obviously, we're going to stop him, or he's going to somehow escape with his now Dreyfus connection. Those are the two things that I think will be answered. Zemo got answered in this episode. I don't think he's coming back. Sharon and Power Broker are probably our two cliffhanger teaser end moments of like either they're connected, they're not connected, what it is. Like similar to how Monica at WandaVision, we had the Skrull tie-in for Fury and Marvel, Miss Marvel. Like that went that path. So either Sharon's going to be revealed like, oh, I've been talking to S.H.I.E.L.D. also, or that connection, or once again, connected to Power Broker. I don't think it'll be something different, like just something left field, wow, hitting us out. Like that seems a little weird, unless it's something like, again, with WandaVision, where there were these seeds planted for Agatha, or Agnes, or whatever her name was. I can't really see much of those now. Like, it's not like the oh crap moment, but maybe I need to see the end to then have the oh crap moment. It was this. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, like I said, I think those two, John and Flag Smashers, will finish up finale. Power Broker and Sharon are going to be our cliffhanger build upon moments. That's my official prediction. 2 and 2. Pew, 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 pew. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think Lady mentioned something earlier. Since when is the government in charge of Captain America? Has that always been a thing? No, when Steve Rogers was Cap, obviously he had ties to the government. He was a soldier in World War II, so he's fighting Nazis. He gets frozen, comes to the future, present day, and he kind of gets enveloped in S.H.I.E.L.D., the non-government, like just world protection organization. So he was tied in with that. He had America as the name, but that was kind of only obviously in I'm not sure of the word, but like association, I guess. Like I was in World War II. The reason the government has control of the S.H.I.E.L.D. now is because we saw in episode 1, Falcon gives up the S.H.I.E.L.D. He's like, I don't want to take up this mantle. I'll give it to the government to retire. And necessarily, he didn't really give it to the government. He kind of gave it to a museum to retire with all the Cap shit. I think it was a Natural History Museum or something like that. And then the government's like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to take this back. America needs a symbol. Here's your new Captain America. And they kind of made it like back to a government public face type thing. So John Walker Captain America is essentially, yes, government raised bread. I don't know what you want to call it. Obviously, we've seen what's happened with him. He wasn't the most stable of person to take care of it, but also it's a lot of pressure. So yeah. So once Falcon is Captain America, no, he will not have any government ties. Like it's his country, so I'm sure he'll be like, oh, America's in trouble with certain issues, but we probably won't deal with that in the comics. It'll be like, this is just a big bad affecting the world. Haha. I don't think he's going to be sent on government-specific missions. Like even Steve wasn't. Whenever it was a mission, it was a SHIELD mission. It was like, they're doing this to protect the world from this specific thing. So there's that. Let's see. Was there anything else that I might have missed? Mrs. G doesn't seem like the Isaiah thing. That wasn't what he was talking about, or that's not how she saw it. I'm interested to hear about that. We teased about the biohazard with the gloves, the blood on the shield. Yes. Took away his past military good deeds. Yeah, they just fucking reamed him. Just tore that man down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, looking forward to the finale, like I said. Hopefully they can do it storytelling-wise, that everything makes sense and gets that nice finish. Like I said, I'm still sticking to my prediction of 2-2. 2 clean finishes, 2 leading paths. We had our doubts with WandaVision of that finishing off, and that's a shorter episode, I think. Finishing off nicely, but they did a good job. We were just wondering how all these elements were getting answered, but Marvel finds a way. They plan well, so we'll have to see. But yes, everybody, finale next week, so make sure you guys do your homework and watch episode 6. I'm excited to chat about the finale and the entire series and how it all ties together with you guys. Probably next week's episode will be a longer one, so make sure you have all your notes and thoughts all together. But this has been another episode of the Marvel Plus Podcast. Appreciate you guys hanging out and watching along. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and if you want to watch this live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma911 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're a sub over there, you can join in the conversation, join on all the theories and talks and whatnot. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to your podcast services and YouTube the very next day, 12 noon Eastern on Monday. And you can catch it over there, video format, MP3 format, whatever you guys would like. You can watch it over there. Let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on the show. And we'll definitely try and talk about them next time. Jesus. But yeah, we're leading to that finale of Captain Falcon. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're losing at the end. Stumbling, tripping, falling down the cliff. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. I'm looking forward to talking the finale with you guys. Have a good day.